Robbie, what's this about finance claims?
Look, if you had a car, a motorbike, or a camper van on finance between 2007 and 2021, you might have been missold or overcharged. Motor Reclaim can check it for you quickly and no win, no fee.
That easy. I've got to look into it.
Hit the link below for a simple check and you might have a valid claim to get some money back.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to DR Sports at 12:30 for the Football Roundup show. And the devastating news I have to bring you today is for the first time in a while, there's no football today. No World Cup football.
F off, lads. What?
There is no World Cup football today because the next game is tomorrow and it's France versus Morocco. So today, there's Champions League qualification matches today. They started yesterday. There's some club friendlies going on, pre-season starting, but there is no World Cup game today. How devastating. Obviously, I've got on my left-hand side, as you may have heard, you got Doyle back in the building as well.
What's happening?
And we're going to talk about the Egypt game, the Egypt-Argentina game that we did yesterday. On my right-hand side is Kim. First time I've seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute, hasn't it?
Yeah, how was the US for you?
Yeah, unbelievable.
So we literally just been talking about it off camera here.
Same as you. Like, I got home and you went out, and I was just like, I wish I was still there. I made the worst decision ever not staying out.
Atlanta was also... There wasn't the tickets weren't as expensive, I think, as you'd been paying.
Yeah.
Because it was the El Congo round of 32, kind of far away from the last game and
as well for the game.
You got a ticket?
I got a ticket for the Atlanta game, but obviously I was already home by then. And I was just like frantically looking up flights to get back out there.
Oh, mate, it was class. Oh, you should. Oh, that would have been great. Yeah, but either way, no, Atlanta was. I mean, I said it on the show yesterday. Atlanta was. Oh, it was just. Like, I never knew I wanted to go to that seat until I went to that city.
Yeah.
And then I went to that city, and now I'm like, I really want to go back to that city. But yesterday, I think there's been a lot of talk about this Argentina-Egypt game.
Loads.
There's been a lot of talk about this game. And first of all, I think send massive credit and props to Egypt because they were so much fun to watch. So obviously Doyle and I did the watch along yesterday for it alongside some Egyptian fans as well, and James T, the biggest Messi fan on the planet, who never lets us know anything else other than Messi's apparently the best player in the world still. Obviously he still got a goal and assist from the 81st minute. But what are we making of all the talk about it being rigged in Argentina's favour?
I think
how much of it is just
there's a lot of reasons why people don't like Argentina politically and, you know, the football team and stuff, and that's totally understandable. Like, we totally get that. But also there is the reality of the game, and that was Argentina, unfortunately, were the better team. They missed loads of chances in the first half, and if they would have buried them, they would have been high and dry a long time ago in the game. It's really disappointing for Egypt because I think everybody was supporting them. I was, because of Mohamed Salah. Of course, I want that man to do as well as he can for Egypt. But the reality was, Argentina won it because they were the better team over the 90 minutes. As valiant as Egypt was and as much as we wanted them to win, that was the reality. I will add, though, there is some decisions that have went throughout the World Cup that have went in Argentina's favour. But that's the reality of every single team. There was one in the last one with Cape Verde, and you've seen all like the clips on social media where he handballs it and stuff, and nothing was given. And you're looking at the goal that Egypt scored yesterday, where it was carried from basically the right back position all the way to the goal, and they scored. I think that was a contentious decision. Technically, it's the correct one. Technically, because he did foul him. He stood on his foot. It's a foul. But it's so far away from the goal. It's so far away that you sort of almost think that it didn't have that much of an impact, because Argentina had about 5 opportunities afterwards to tackle the lad, and he didn't.
I think with that one, I think if he'd fouled Messi or if he fouled Julian Alvarez, it would have been different. But the fact that he fouled their centre-back and then runs through and there's a gaping hole at centre-back, that just makes it...
I get you.
Disallowed goal, because Lisandro Martinez would have been back there if he hadn't been fouled.
Yeah.
And he is a very good centre-back and he probably would have stopped it. I think the whole chat about like Argentina get lucky is... Look, like in football, you sometimes get favourable decisions, and I would say in Qatar they got a few favourable decisions.
Yeah.
This World Cup they got a few favourable decisions, but I don't think there can be any like real, honest football fans who genuinely think that is rigged in Argentina's favour. Number one, why? It's not like they're an economic powerhouse globally. It's not like Donald Trump has a special relationship with Argentina. There's no reason for it, other than people who don't like Messi think that Messi's been given a free ride to the World Cup, which is just childish and it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Argentina are better than Egypt.
Yeah.
Argentina have better players 1 to 11 than Egypt, and they also have the best player in the world who is still, by the way, the best player in the world. Let's be honest, just because he's playing in MLS, it doesn't reduce
The
it.
reality is
He's been the best player at this World Cup because he's the best player in the world. And he comes up with an assist, he comes up with an unbelievable goal. And like Rio Ferdinand said, let's just enjoy it. Let's just enjoy it. I obviously, as an England fan, would have rather played Egypt, right? Because they're easier. But also, it's going to be a great game if we get through Norway and Argentina beats Switzerland. That's going to be a way better game. It's going to be an amazing
And it's
contest.
also
And to be the
a
best,
better
you've got to
run,
beat the
isn't it?
best.
Like I've always said, like in terms of like runs and everything. So let's look at Arsenal's run, for example, to the Champions League final. Like PSG's run was just against a plethora of incredible teams, whereas Arsenal's run, and I think everyone will agree that it was a more forgiving run.
Yeah.
And I always said at the time, obviously the main goal is you don't care how you win the tournament, but like from England's perspective, if you go, yeah, we won the tournament by beating like Norway, by beating Argentina, by beating France versus like beating Colombia, beating Egypt and co. Like you want to be able to say you won a tournament, but if you do win the tournament by beating all the best teams.
The thing is, in the World Cup, no game's easy, and it's proven that with Democratic Republic of Congo, that was a difficult game. But the fact that the semi-finals on Wednesday and the finals on Sunday, there's only 4 days in between that. You don't really want to be playing a Switzerland or Egypt, and let's say it's a really easy game and we comfortably win 2-3-0, and then on the Sunday you come up against France. That's actually not what you want. That really is what's hamstrung PSG a lot in the Champions League, is that 1 week they're coming up against a really poor Angers, and then the next week they're coming up against Real Madrid. I think playing Argentina, playing a very good team in the semi-final prepares you a lot better for the final rather than playing against a weaker opposition. And as you say, it's good. Like, we want to look back on this World Cup. If England get to the final, if England win it, we want to look back and we want to say, right, we beat Argentina, we beat France, we beat the 2 best teams in it, we beat the last 2 finalists. So I can't wait for that game if it happens.
The reality is,
crazy game.
It's really sad for Egypt. My heart goes out for them. I really wanted them to win yesterday.
Well, have you seen
but they were 2-0 up, lads. They were 2-0 up. Yeah, I did. I've seen it.
Yeah,
they were 2-0 up, and that is not Argentina's fault that you basically let that go. That's the reality of it. You could have won that game. You had 10 minutes left, and you just could have won it. And they clawed it back, and that's not because of any decisions by the referee or favouritism or anything. That's just because they pushed really hard for 10 minutes and scored 3 goals. And that's the reality of it. The 3rd goal that went in was because Egypt were pushing so high on the pitch to try and get that extra goal that they left the defender really isolated. And Martinez is a quality player, so he found a quality cross to Enzo, and it went in. It's just a sad reality of
I
the game.
see it as it's just what like Ice-T4969 says. The script is in. We all witnessed the mockery, and just and also Oba Razak sends in a super chat, says that VA Argentina game was corrupt / scripted for sure.
Can I ask these people who are leaving these comments? What are they annoyed? What decision? I watched the game.
So
what are they?
That would be
about?
great, yeah. Don't, like, without emotion, just put in the comments.
What are you actually
decisions
annoyed about?
was it that you think impacted the game?
So, for example,
for
Zico.
Argentina?
So, for anyone who's missed it, Zico's the guy who scored the second goal
Yeah.
for Egypt. The second goal that counted, obviously not the counter attack that was like we were all jumping and screaming around. That was a crazy.
It was
goal.
insane.
It was the
goal
Hassan,
itself
the
was
actual-
beautiful.
By the way,
That
Hassan
was-
needs a big move. He is an absolute joke.
By the way, he's one of the
yesterday.
most. So I was looking afterwards some of the tweets and everything. So in La Liga, he's one of the most efficient dribblers in the entire league. Like in terms of like
Do you know what's mad as well? We're missing a
take on
kitchen on the
completed.
right wing if you want to come to Liverpool, lad. Do you know what I mean?
He's 24, I think. So Zico, after the game, said the referee wasn't good. He was unfair. His injustice was clear. He persecuted us from the start of the match. He doesn't want us to win. It was a rigged game. It wasn't our fault. That referee, it seems like this match was rigged. We were winning 2-0 and he kept coming at us. Congratulations to Argentina on another World Cup.
What is he talking about, though? What is he talking about? It's like Thomas Tuchel after the England game going at the referee and saying how poor he was. What's going on? The refereeing in this World Cup, by the way, has been by far better than anything we've seen over the last few years, particularly in the Premier League.
I think yesterday was more reminiscent of the Prem game.
Flow. The games are being allowed to flow way better than they have been. I don't understand what all this complaining is about. He's very disappointed that his side have thrown away a 2-goal lead. That is fine. He's also probably read, let's be realistic, children online who are Ronaldo fans going on about how Argentina have been given this free ride. He's let that affect him and he's come out with this nonsense. And it's a bit embarrassing, really.
I think it comes down to the view of the country, Argentina, politically, and lots of other ways why people have got this type of view on them. And it's totally understandable. Totally get it. It can be justified in lots of ways. But we're looking at the football in an isolated incident. And it was fair, to be quite honest with you. Argentina won it because they were just the better team, and that's sad. I'm so sorry for these guys, but you can't say it was corruption. I don't think it was. No. Maybe that goal could have stood the third one, so maybe it goes 3-3. I think that's the only contentious decision for me. But technically, it's the right decision. It was.
What
I think phase of play.
People are looking at is it's Argentina's winner happened after there was a
foul on Mo Salah.
A foul, like an alleged foul on Mo Salah. And watching it, I do think it's a foul, but I think it's really soft. And I can see it's one of those ones. You know how VAR have done the whole they hide behind the whole clear and obvious thing. Like, did the referee clear and obviously make a mistake in that game? It's like Salah had the ball, kind of fluffed it a little bit. The defender did get the ball.
Completely got the ball. Completely.
He's got the ball and then also afterwards stepped on Salah. So you can argue that if he hadn't stepped on Salah, he could have won the ball back. And I think if a step had been given for the foul on Martinez, they're kind of similar and maybe they should both be fouls. But it's not like I'm looking at that and going, yeah, there's clearly been a brown envelope handed to the VAR in the 90th minute.
Earlier in the World Cup, there was a penalty against Senegal. It was France and Senegal. It was Mane. Yeah. He completely took out Mbappe. For me, that was a blatant penalty.
Oh, yeah, no, we did that stream. Yeah.
And it wasn't given. And if that's not going to be given, I can pretty imagine that the Mo Salah one wasn't given either. And I want Mo Salah to get that penalty. Of course I do. But I'm trying to be very objective about it. The lad won the ball. And then afterwards, they had a small tangle of legs where they both meet each other. The Argentina defender doesn't kick his leg. They both just tangle a little tiny bit. And Mo falls over trying to get a penalty. The one before that where Maka drags him a little bit. Again, if a penalty was given for that, that is an incredibly soft penalty because in reality, he's pulled him and then he's fell down about a second later. And not to mention the ball is miles away from him anyway. So it's already out of the Argentina's defender's foot by the time he's fell on the floor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just sad. I'm sorry, Egypt. I'm not trying to play down your emotions or anything, but this is the reality of the game and we're just trying to be as objective as possible.
This is the second time now that Argentina have won a game 3-2 and not, as although they may have looked the better team in terms of chances created, all of that, realistically they've not taken their chances a lot until Messi's effectively stepped up to the plate and done it for them again. Let's say England get through Norway, past Norway. I know that's a big if because Norway they're looking absolutely fantastic this tournament. Haaland's looking as good as he always has been for the last 3 or 4 years. Would that put England as favourites against Argentina, considering that England, I'd say, look more cohesive and on average better?
I think
as an 11.
They remind me of Real Madrid in
the Champions League.
That's who they are.
Just about to say
That's
that.
Who they are.
Is that who they are?
They're the Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Yeah.
They don't need to play particularly well, but when it matters, they always turn up.
Yeah.
And that is the fear. I think if you're looking at it objectively, if you're like a football coach or a scout, for example, and you're watching the actual play on the pitch, you'd say that this year Argentina have been a bit disappointing. They haven't been that amazing, particularly in the last 2 games. Apart from a bit of Messi magic, they could very well be out. But the fact is, you have to equate that. Yeah. Messi will be magic again.
Yeah.
In the same way that we come up on Saturday, Erling Haaland will score.
Yeah.
We know that's going to happen.
Oh, the game is 1-0 Norway.
Right
now, the game is 1-0
The game is already
Norway.
1-0, so you have to factor that in and you have to win. We know for a fact if we get through that and we play against Messi, Messi will score or assist.
Yeah.
We know he will, or win a penalty. We know we'll do one of those things. So we have to just factor that in. So I don't think it makes us favourite. I think we're a better team. I think 1-11 we're probably a slightly better team, but they have the best player in the world who can do anything at any given moment, and he's still incredible at it.
Did you see the run he did towards the end of the game and he passed it to Martinez? Yeah. Like, watching him do that, I was like, you're 39, lad. You're 39, brother. Like, how are your legs going that fast still? He was that quick. He knocked it round a player who fully slid and his body is completely on the ground, about a 6'4" man, and still managed to knock the ball past him, run round, get it, and then give it to Martinez, who salmon-headed it into the floor. Like, still... It's just unbelievable.
I mean, the one thing that I thought yesterday was for about 80 minutes, they'd marked him out of the game perfectly.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely unbelievable game plan from Egypt. They absolutely stifled him. And then as the other players got tired, because he walks around for 82% of his game, he's still got that fresh energy.
He still has
even at 39
left in his
he's still got stuff left in his tank. And I think the one thing that I would like to take to that from that Egypt game, if I was Thomas Tuchel and we beat Norway and Switzerland beat Argentina, if we do come up against them, is that we we have pretty energetic midfielders and we've got some good options on the bench. So if the game plan to stifle Messi is good and it's working at 70 minutes, you take off Anderson or you take off Rice, you bring on a Mainu, and he'll have energy in the legs, and he just does exactly the same job.
Yeah, no
Henderson
now.
Because the honest truth is, as much as like you don't want to say anyone's a one-man team, if you stop Messi in that Argentina team, you have a 90%
This is the thing. I don't think Argentina have been massively impressive. Messi, I know, Messi aside, is the most like biggest asterisk you can possibly put on something, because, as you say, they have Lionel Messi. But it's like, if you can somehow not even, because you can't stop Messi, but manage him the same way you can't, realistically, you can't stop Erling Haaland, John Stones or Ezri Konsa or Mark Gay or whoever's playing at the back, maybe even Dan Burn. Like Dan Burn could probably help stop Erling Haaland just by simply standing there and going doof doof like he did in Mexico. But you're not going to start Dan Burn against Norway. No. So it's about, I guess, managing Erling Haaland as best you can. So manage Messi, and then the other 10 positions on the pitch, England are better. I don't think Argentina have been like Enzo Fernandez scored the winner yesterday. Yeah. He was not that good. Yeah, he was pretty poor. He then scored the winner. You talk about the Real Madrid of international football at the moment. It's Real Madrid can be terrible for 89 minutes, and Rodrigo can pop up and score. Like this, pop up and score 2 goals in added time, and then go through stuff like that. But
I think Argentina have been impressive. I don't think they've been as cohesive and as free flowing as someone like France or something. But I think they've been incredibly impressive. They're winning all the games that they play, and they're getting through. Lot. Yeah, Messi scored like 8 goals now, something like that. He's got how many assists as well?
7.
I also don't know about you lot, but when Egypt went 2-0 up, it was very obvious Argentina was still going to win that game.
Do you reckon? I thought it was
done.
So.
I thought it was done. I thought it was done.
It's just never done though with them. It's never done with them.
Obviously, as we've been seeing.
As we've seen, it's never done with them.
They done it in the last World Cup as well. They were losing in games then, and you kept coming back and just winning last minute. That's who they are, lad. They've got that DNA. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
if people don't like them, but you've got to give credit where it's due, and they just keep.
Oh yeah,
winning.
no, I don't like. I've never been a fan or peddled too much the whole actual rigged thing ever. Like, when, like, for example, obviously Zico's come out and said the game was against us. Like, do you remember when Rodri was after the Spurs game? Yeah. Rodri came out and went, "This is like they're actually against us." I don't think Rodri actually thinks that the Premier League are actually against Man City. I think he was just fuming. He was just utterly fuming because because there were a load of decisions that didn't go your way, but that was due to Premier League referees just being generally not fantastic at their job. And I think yesterday was just a case of maybe there was some sort of leniency, like in a subconscious or unconscious leniency towards Argentina in the way that... So actually, Lies, he made a really good point actually yesterday. I was watching the video just before we went live, where basically he says Argentina play so aggressively from the start that they put the standard of what's a foul that they make really, really high. So if they start really aggressively, the ref just goes, "Oh, that's just who they are." So therefore, the threshold for actually calling what a foul is versus, "Oh, that's just him playing football."
I mean, there's one way to combat that immediately as a referee, and it's the first bad foul, just get a yellow card immediately, and then you go, you can't tackle like that anymore, you can't be like that. But I understand what he's saying.
But I think that's a better way of describing why the referee would have probably let more 50-50s go in Argentina's favour, because there is a certain standard. Like, do you remember, who was it? The man, was it Fernandinho? Always used to get away with quite a lot.
Constantly.
Because just in the way, just because that's who he was. He was always like, he was so good at like being really, really on it from minute one and putting in really hard tackles that the rest kind of just went, "Oh, that's just who he is." Like, it's not a foul. It's fine because it's Fernandinho. Whereas other players, let's say another player, let's say Fabinho had made the same kind of challenge back in the day because they were both playing.
He'd be penalised for it.
He would have been penalised for it. But it's just, I think the way that they play, really aggressive from minute one, means that the threshold. I think it's a good point.
Been higher in the World Cup so far. Anyway, I think the threshold for fouls has been higher. I think the threshold for yellow cards has been higher, and I think it's made for a much, much, much more entertaining set of fixtures. I don't know about you lot, but I've enjoyed this World Cup way more than I've enjoyed Premier League seasons. I think almost any Premier League season, particularly since the introduction of VAR, which has meant that it's so stop-start. I might be wrong, but I feel like this World Cup is exactly what we talk of when we talk about like 2006 nostalgic football. There's individual brilliance, people having shots from outside the box. There's goalkeeping excellence from players that you don't expect. There's a lot less tactical...
I'm loving the goalkeepers this tournament.
But there's a lot less emphasis on the tactical and there's a lot more emphasis on vibe and players just being brilliant and players stepping up, which is always what we talk about. That's exactly what we want. And I would be intrigued to know the stats, because this may just be me with a vision of how I'm enjoying the World Cup that's clouding it. I'd be interested to see how many fouls are given in this World Cup compared to the Premier League. And I'd be interested to see how long the ball is in play in the World Cup compared to it is in the Premier League, because it feels like we're getting more football and it feels like we're getting a lot less fouls and it's a lot less stop-start.
I do agree. From the very start of the competition, I've noticed that players are allowed to go on with certain tackles. I also think VAR is a little bit quicker. It has been officiated a little bit better than the Premier League, because the Premier League is shoddy in so many times, and I do agree with the individual performance as well. It's been a good World Cup in lots of ways, to be quite honest with you, on the pitch. Can't really complain.
And as
about
well,
it.
do you think maybe that's because it's in contrast to what we watched in the Prem last season?
Oh, damn right,
like
lads.
every team.
Damn
Because
right.
I don't want to make it Arsenal specific, because pretty much every single team lean towards the complete
Long
physicality,
throw,
long throws, etc.
man.
Like I haven't watched a lot of the games because they've been like 3 a.m. and stuff over here, but I can't recall a long throw this tournament.
No.
I actually cannot recall a single long throw this tournament.
Why haven't England done
National
any long
football,
throws?
fun.
We should definitely do some long throws. I'm only saying it as a Liverpool fan because the amount of times we face long throws and concede.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's not a fair comparison, right? Knockout football is not the same game league, but the tactics are way more. They're just more fun. It's a lot more fun watching the World Cup than it is watching the Premier League, particularly as you say the last year, because you need to win. So I think there have been certain first halves which have been like quite boring, and then it gets to the second half and it's like, all right, we actually need to win this game.
Yeah.
So we're going to employ tactics. We're going to allow our best players expression of freedom. Like, you actually think about Jude Bellingham, right? Let's be completely honest. Can you imagine Jude Bellingham under Arteta? Do you think he would be getting in the box the way he is? Do you think he'd be scoring the goals he is? He wouldn't.
He'd be boss under Jurgen Klopp, though, I'll tell you that, lad.
Yeah,
Jurgen
he would
Klopp,
have been good.
God, he would have been perfect.
Him and Firmino would be an incredible.
Do you know who I actually feel sorry for in the game yesterday? The Egyptian goalkeeper, because he had such a fantastic game.
So good.
But the 2 goals that went in initially for Argentina, the first and the second, he probably could have done a little bit better with them, because both of them he got a very strong hand to, but he pushed them into the goal. And before that, he played so well. He'd been stopping Alvarez. He'd stopped all these wonderful short shots and stuff. And then it was the one with Messi for me, where Messi's definitely rifled it. It's a hard shot, but he gets his whole hand to it, and if he just gets his other hand behind there, it goes over the bar. It's not a chance. And the same with the header. Gets his hand to it and he sort of pushes it into the top corner. I felt so bad for him. If he had saved them 2, it would have been a completely different game. Like, they would have won, but it's the reality. It's unfortunate for them. It's so sad, honestly.
But I'd say, obviously, we're speaking about England possibly getting there, and we just referenced England versus Norway in a few days' time. How confident are you guys feeling for that game? Like, considering the slight, I'd say, inconsistency maybe of England's play, about sometimes being fantastic against the likes of Croatia, Mexico, etc., and then also having some poor games as well.
It's a bit of a 50-50, isn't it? I would say, given all the factors, it's probably on paper an easier game than the Mexico game was. And I thought we were amazing in that game. So if we can pull that out again, I don't think that we should struggle. I also think that if we can't beat Norway, we're not going to beat Argentina, we're not going to beat France. So I'm kind of like fairly relaxed about it in a way. I feel like we are the better team. I feel like 1 to 11, apart from Erling Haaland, we're the better team. So we should win. I feel like we've got a manager in there who has won a lot more than his opposing manager at the highest level. He's proven last game that he's tactically very, very astute and he knows what to do with these players. We should win.
Yeah.
So, as I said to Dor yesterday, the World Cup comes around once every 4 years. I'm not going to spend my off days when England aren't playing being nervous and stressing out. I'm going to enjoy it to the maximum.
Yeah.
And part of that enjoyment is thinking that we're going to win and thinking that we're going to get to the final.
Of course.
So I think we will win because I think we're the better team, and I think we've proved over particularly the last game.
I was going to say, has the
there.
Mexico game changed your perception
100%.
of what England can do against, I'd say, banana skin teams? Because
Yeah.
Mexico at the Azteca is probably the most
Banana skinny
England
team,
basket
yeah.
of all time, and also the most England lost coded game in the last
we should have
25
gone out. We should have gone
30
out.
years.
We've all seen Mike Bassett, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. If you haven't seen that film, go and watch it. It's excellent.
But like that is the kind of game where you'd think on another day England get battered 3-0, there's a red card, someone gets sent off. Obviously, Jordan Henderson got a yellow card despite not even getting on the pitch.
And
I hope he's all
Quansah
right.
did get a red card as well, to be fair. And Quansah did get a red card.
Yeah,
as well.
to be fair, Quansah actually did get sent off. You are right. But I do think that game, and also the vibes after that game. Like, I know it's just going off one little video, the John Stones video afterwards.
Such a good video.
It's just
Watched
like
it on repeat.
Tuchel's there getting involved. They clearly really like him.
I don't know if you've seen the video before the tournament where he's saying, like, let's be honest, I'm going to say it outright right now, and I'm going to tell you the reason why we're here today, our mission is to win the World Cup. Simple as that. We're not here to compete, we're here to win. And I really like that about Tommy Tuchel because he's just saying it out. He's not letting it be a secret. He's not letting it be an anxiety. He's saying, no, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing what we're doing. This is why we're training like this. This is our mission. So I really do like him. The Germans all have this like charismatic way of leading, and I'm saying that I guess not every single one does, but I'm saying that off the back of Klopp and the way he spoke to Liverpool teams, and there's symmetry between the two lads, that Tommy Tuchel and Klopp. They both got this passionate, straightforward, no messing about talk. This is what we're doing. This is what I'm thinking, and I really like it.
I mean, it's a difficult one though, isn't it? Because if you wipe that Mexico game out of your mind and you look back to the Congo game, the Ghana game, and the Panama game, if we play anything like that against Norway, we will lose.
Yeah.
So it's been a proper after those two games, I thought, there's absolutely no chance. And then the Mexico game, I think just with all the factors of it and the way that we played, I think we performed really, really well. That's made me feel like we've got a chance. But if we play anything like that, we will lose because Erling Haaland will score. And if they can stifle us to the point that Ghana did where we can't score, it's going to be a dark day. But I do just think that maybe that was a turning point. I feel like the vibes afterwards, like you said, like the videos from the changing room,
so funny.
Makes me feel like the players have a lot more confidence in themselves.
How do you think that
they're a squad? They're a true squad.
How do you reckon they'll set up against us? Do you think they'll come to go toe-to-toe? Or do you think they'll do the counter-attack thing? Because they've got enough players to do the counter-attack.
They'll do exactly what they did against Brazil.
Yeah, exactly.
So suck them in.
So they suck them in for a bit and then go, right, it's nil. But I think what's happening in this tournament is every single team seems to be using the second hydration break as a marker. A marker of when to switch. Like so many sides. I think that's why Jasmine yesterday was saying that the African teams consistently across the tournament have completely fallen off after the second hydration break. I think that's because so many sides, and especially I'd say the tactically astute managers such as Deschamps, such as Tuchel and co, have been using that break. I saw it at the stadium in Atlanta for the DL Congo game. Tuchel was kind of animated on the side. He's being normal himself, but in that second hydration break before then England came back and scored the 2 goals to win the game, he was hammering them, and he had the whiteboards out. He was telling everyone where to go. Blah, blah. So it seemed there was a massive switch that flipped in that second hydration break, and I think that's just been a really key part of the tournament. And I think in terms of what Norway are going to do, it's going to be, if we can get there, then we can win the game. Because that's what happened against Brazil. The Brazil game was Brazil, obviously, they missed a penalty. Then they missed a few very good chances, Brazil did. But then it was a case of Norway were like, okay, we've got to this point. Right, now we're just going to find Haaland properly. And Haaland basically looked at Gabriel and went, oh, look, dinner. And then scored 2 goals.
Dinner.
But he pretty much did. And I think that's what that worked against Brazil. That's worked and got them to where they are now. I don't see why that wouldn't.
I think they might try and score an early goal. They might try and get an early goal. I think first 10, 15 minutes, I think they're going to actually properly attack us because we've actually looked quite vulnerable in the first 10, 15 of games. And we know that if they go 1-0 up, that's going to be a really, really, really long afternoon. Yeah. I mean, the more I'm actually talking about it, the less confident I'm getting. I'm trying to be confident. They're a good team. And it's
because you spent so long supporting Erling Haaland, you're suddenly like, oh, crap.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it. Wait. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, and I'm looking back at the games, the previous games, the Ghana game and things like that, and I'm thinking, well, we have looked a bit blunt, but
the Mexico game is the real England, and England always. I think that's more
because that's a team playing against a team that wants to play football and go toe to toe. England are the best when they do that. That's the when
England are always as good as their opponents. That's the issue that's always been with England is that when England play an opponent who is lower ranked in the table, England then decide to play like they're 30th ranked in the competition.
And to be fair, I would say Norway are pretty even. I think we're better. I think we've got better players, but I think as a team they're fairly even.
Norway play like a club side. I've been saying this about a lot of the lower ranked teams, is they play like club teams.
You've also got to remember though that Norway haven't been anywhere near here before.
Yeah.
They haven't been in a World Cup for many, many years, and they've never been to this stage before. Whereas we have. We know what the expectations are. Most players in this squad have been to a Euros final 2 years ago, so that I think will massively impact us, and that will
I
help
can't
us as
see
well.
this game being any more than like 2-1. I
it
don't
won't be- it won't be a
don't see
high-scoring
goals
game at all.
in this
Neither
game.
do I.
1-0, 1-1,
God, I
2-1.
really hope it's not penalties. I can't do
It's
it.
going to be a really, really, really tough game. There's so many good teams in this tournament right now. Norway play exactly like you said, like a club side, and they've got one of the best players in the world at the top of them. They've got Oscar Bobbs, they've got Odegaard, who's playing like a completely
Their
different
goalkeeper
player
as
as
well.
well.
By the way, against
What's his name?
I can't remember his name, but some of the saves
Finn
he's pulling
Klaas.
out. Yeah, especially in the second half against Brazil.
I would much
Madness.
rather be playing Brazil.
Yeah, because they'll go for
I'd
it.
much
lads.
rather be playing Brazil than playing Norway, for sure. I'm
Even-
still confident.
Is that because Brazil are the better side on paper? You'd actually rather play them
They
because
go
then,
toe for
because
toe.
then,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I also think
Because
that
England are so strong and athletic. Some of the teams, some of the
Yeah,
players
but-
play in the Premier
but
League.
Norway are. That's the thing.
But Norway
I
are
think
as
with
well.
Brazil, we could
Sander
probably
Berge, by
bully
the way,
them
another
a
player
little
that's
bit.
had a class
he's
tournament.
but he is
Sander Berge
quality,
from
though.
Fulham. He's been fantastic this tournament for them. Yeah, they just like one of the comments here says 18 Nostalgia says Norway look really tidy in possession. That's true.
They do. They look good.
They look compact. They look well drilled. That's why I said they look like a club side. They're compact, well drilled, and they know their
But
instructions.
it's like, but if you can't beat Norway in the quarterfinal, then you're just not good enough to win the World Cup anyway.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the players should be thinking that. That's what they should be thinking.
I think all the pressure is on England without a shadow of a doubt. No, as you said, Norway have not
Especially
been
some of
here.
the sides and some of the other sides as well have been poor.
Yeah. Norway will be going into this game with nothing to lose type thing, which can play into their favour, lad, if I'm honest with you.
100%. Justice Beats has commented earlier saying England play better as underdogs. Facts.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Completely.
100%. And
That's
kind
what
of-
Mark Gay said that Mexico were favourites.
Yeah. I know.
I still can't believe he said that.
No, I think Mexico were favourites. I think we were underdogs for that game. I think most people around the world expected Mexico to beat us.
I did.
Even if they would have caveated that with, I think Mexico will surprise the world and beat England. They still genuinely believe that. I think
Fair
more
enough.
people thought that Mexico would win. Even I did.
So did I.
I was really worried. Whereas this game, it feels like everyone expects England to win, and we don't really thrive under that kind of
I
pressure.
agree.
So it's going to be
We're
difficult.
not being facetious when we say that. We're being genuine. Like, Mexico were unbelievable in the tournament. They hadn't
They're
conceded
class.
the goal.
Yeah, you were the first
They
team to score against them.
They hadn't lost at that stadium for like 60 odd years.
Yeah.
Like, of course, that's a formidable place to go and a formidable team. So the fact that we beat them give us a lot of confidence because we didn't expect it, genuinely.
Yeah. Bondi in here says, man, put some respect on Spain, especially their defence with 0 goals conceded. They control and suffocate you. The reigning Euro champions who beat France in the semis, unbeaten for 35 matches, not counting a penalty shootout. I think Spain have just been very different to what I thought they would be this tournament.
They've been very different to the old Spain, but they've been absolutely quality.
Just
Rodri's
like-
been unbelievable.
I think
back
similarities and differences. They're missing that killer number 9. Without a doubt, that attacking threat is a bit different to what it used to be from the Spain of 2010. But when you're talking about playing style, it's pretty what you expect from Spain. Keep possession of the ball. As he said, suffocate is the perfect word because they just don't bore you. They just pass it round you so much that you can't even get the ball. And then, like what happened with Portugal, you switch off for one quick moment and that passing goes in and Marino scores.
Yep.
They're fantastic. Nobody in England is underestimating Spain, especially when we lost you 2 years ago in the Euro final. Without a shadow of a doubt, we're tentatively walking through this World Cup tree, hoping that England can beat each team that goes on. We're not arrogant. We're not thinking we're going to win this.
Spain are on the other side of the draw completely, and it'll be like, so England are only going to face one. If England get to the final, they would face one team on that side. So as much as England can
Could it be France and Spain
underestimate,
again?
it'd be France
Morocco?
and or Spain. Well, France or Spain seems the most likely.
Yeah.
So England don't even really need to think about Spain realistically.
I'm
because it's 3 games away.
I'm in the mind that Morocco again are being underestimated. Again,
Yeah.
it's an
Well,
African
I wanted to
team
bring-
that
I wanted to-
nobody. I don't understand it with African teams. Nobody respects them. Morocco are terrifying, in my opinion. They could beat France, boys. I genuinely mean it. All the stuff that Paraguay done to France, they can do with a bit of more class and quality, essentially. They can run them off the pitch and say, you want to play fancy football? Well, we're going to stop you from doing that. And also, we can play good football ourselves. So watch this. That Moroccan side are going to give France a run for their money. So don't write them off. There's 3 teams for me. Spain, France and Morocco. Them 3 are formidable teams. So if they can all knock each other out before they get to the final for England, that'd be great, lad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, England only need to play one of the teams on those sides.
I think because things move so quickly in the World Cup, you forget what the narratives are like even 10 days ago. After the group stages, people were saying, "Oh yeah, the Netherlands, they look absolutely amazing. They could be a dark horses for the tournament." I know Morocco took them to penalties, but there's never been a more one-sided game than that. Morocco stifled the Dutch so intensely. They scored basically from their only
Coleman
shot.
as well randomly changed their entire formation and tactics and everything for that game.
Because he was terrified. Because he was terrified of how good Morocco are. That is the truth.
Boss.
They're boss.
I know they are. I think they were underwhelming against Scotland, but they were. I think because that game, that Scotland
game.
Second game.
Yeah.
Their first game was against
that
Brazil.
game.
Bro, that Morocco-Scotland game was. It was at 11 p.m. here. We were watching the watch long hours of falling asleep.
£690 I paid to watch that absolute dive.
It was terrible. It was genuinely
Just
a horrible
rubbish.
game.
You've been treated to the Champions Leagues and Premier League.
Yeah.
I deserved
that.
You more than anyone deserves to pay 700 quid to watch an absolute.
That sounds so exciting.
Lad, literally, obviously, half my family is Scottish, so I go in with my little Scotland flag on. We sing Flower of Scotland within 60 seconds with 1-0 down. And then basically no one touches the ball for the next 90 minutes.
It was
Just
it
like,
was
this is
absolutely
crap.
it was an absolute diabolical
That'll
game.
be £700.
Yeah, that'll be
please.
£700, please. I was like,
Well,
all right,
£700 has been the going rate
Wow,
minimum
for
for
a
a
ticket.
ticket.
Liverpool, if you ever charge that much for a ticket, oh my God, I don't know how long Anfield will be standing.
The ones in Atlanta were worth, it was $885 face value.
Crazy.
Those ones,
Wait
yeah.
for a ticket to go and watch footy. You cheeky gits, honestly.
Yeah.
Someone's put a comment here, right? 80s nostalgia again, says Mainu could feature. I'm surprised he hasn't played any minutes. My hot take, if you want to call it a hot take, I would definitely put Declan Rice at right back and I'd play Mainu. Because actually, let's be completely honest, if we're going to be honest,
Wow.
Declan Rice against Ghana, against Panama, and what was the other game? And against Congo, quite poor. And against Congo, when he moved into right back, the whole space opened up in the midfield because Elliot Anderson and Declan Rice are 2 very, very, very similar players.
Yeah.
Mainu's not really like that.
Mainu's the perfect kind of player to complement one of them in midfield.
100%,
Or
and
like
we
that,
have-
that. If you've got Mainu and then one of Rice and Anderson in midfield, you basically have a complete footballer.
And unless Reece James is fit, we have this massive hole at right back now. Where Jed Spence, when he came on against Mexico, he's amazing. When he started, he hasn't been very good. Declan Rice can play there. Declan Rice is pretty good there. When he came back there against Congo, he was good. There was also a lot more space in midfield for England to attack. There was a lot more space for Jude Bellingham to get forward when Declan Rice wasn't in there. And I do think in a game where we might need a lot of energy, I do feel like it's not the worst shout in the world to play Mainu there.
I'm surprised Mainu hasn't got at least some minutes.
0 minutes.
Like from a United fan perspective, I don't mind the fact that he's not got loads of minutes because, and I was kind of understand it in the way that he didn't play for half a season and then he played pretty much every single game. He was fantastic on a Michael Carrick, but then Elliot Anderson has played an entire season. Declan Rice is pretty much Thomas Tuchel's firstborn son at this point. Like he is like Declan Rice is what Thomas Tuchel loves, absolutely. But I'm annoyed and a bit surprised that, for example, he didn't come on against Congo, for example, for 15 minutes or so. Like when we speak about, like Thomas Tuchel he knows his starting 11 here pretty much. There's like 8 positions where he goes, that's my guy. And there's a few positions where he basically just goes, depending on whoever plays better the game before, like the whole left wing thing. If Gordon plays well, Gordon starts. If Gordon plays poorly, Rashford comes off the bench. Rashford plays well, Rashford starts. So it could be very much, I think Gordon will play against Norway. Let's say Gordon doesn't have a great game. Rashford comes on and scores. Rashford will then start against Argentina. That's just how it's working in that position. Right-hand side is a bit more, I think, managing Saka. And that's how it's been between him and Madueke. Right back's just been a case of who's left, because people just keep dropping like flies with red cards and injuries and everything like that.
I think Rice can do any job on the pitch, to be quite honest with you.
Rice played a right back for Arsenal
type
for a
of
bit,
players,
didn't he?
and he definitely was good against the Congo, without a shadow of a doubt. But I don't know if we want to play him there straight away. Maybe move him there later on in the game to bring on Manu then. I think that would work a little bit better.
And then what's the solution at right back then? You play Konza right back.
Is Konza going to be able to play now?
Why would he not be? No,
He's got a
Konza. Esri
Konza, as in
Oh,
Villa,
Konza,
as
sorry.
Esri Konza.
This
Yeah.
happened again last time.
Yeah.
didn't it? Konza.
Yeah.
He could play Jed Spence as well. Like, I know you don't like Jed Spence. Not many people do. I think he's a solid
he's good.
defender
I
when
think
he's
he's
asked
fine.
to defend.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't tell him to go to the top of the pitch. He's not good at that. That's not what his job
That's
is.
why I thought. I know he.
Their
so he
left
was
winger,
get-
though, Noosa, is mint.
Yeah, he's very
Yeah.
good.
He's very, very, very
That's
good.
why I
He's one of
think
the
Jed
breakout
Spence could-
stars. So
I agree.
it's not actually a bad shout playing an
Spence
actual
got
defender
ridiculed
there
for against
him.
Congo, but when he was like, so Congo attacked on. I was sat on, so if Congo are attacking first half, I was on that left-hand side, so Jed Spence was right in front of me. And it was exactly what you said. Whenever Jed Spence was up the pitch, he was kind of jarring. But whenever he was right in front of me, everything was going down his side, the
good
Dio
defender.
Congo thing. And he defended, I know they scored, but aside from that, he defended very, I thought he was pretty all right.
I mean, he did get chopped up a few times by that left winger, I can't lie.
But it was like basically the first 60 minutes of the game was basically played in his little quadrant of the pitch.
Yeah.
Just
A lot
stay in
of
that
it
right
was.
back position.
Yeah. But I actually, you know what? I don't disagree with you. In terms of also as well, if Norway are good in possession, England need to be as equally as good in possession. And talk about a guy who can keep the ball. Kobe Mainu is fantastic at it.
100%.
He's fantastic at shielding. He's great in tight spaces. If Norway are going to be compact, he's the exact kind of. It's why
Stones has to play
It's
back.
why I get going on with Ruben Amorim in the way that like we play against low blocks with this 3-5, this 3-4-3 that we played. Mainu would never play, and I'm like, you've got Lenny Orr on the edge of the box with the ball at his feet. That's where you want Kobe Mainu because he can do quick 1-2 passes. He can play. He's very good at pulling strings in the middle of the park, and it could be a very, very good game for
He
him.
needs to have a good season for me this season for him to deserve all the hype. He's definitely a great player, but he needs more game time in the Premier League right now for him to sort of build consistency.
But
I do think he's
listen,
great.
things, I think he will because he didn't play under Ruben Amorim because Ruben Amorim just didn't
like him.
But then as soon as he played,
I mean,
literally his first start was against you lot at Man City at Old Trafford, and he was brilliant. Go Arsenal away, brilliant, and he just kept on playing
Scored the winner
to
against
the end of the
Liverpool as
season.
well. Get
Yes,
on this.
Exactly.
This comment's funny. It's a Zoke joke says Manu's basically on holiday in North America. 0 minutes, just sightseeing in boots.
Yeah. This is the thing is like at the same time I don't mind it in the way that like he's not being run to, like Declan Rice, by the way. Arsenal need to put Declan Rice on sabbatical once this tournament ends.
Yeah.
Because Thomas Tuchel came out and literally said, yeah, he's told me he's hurt, but he'll keep going, so I'm going to keep playing him. Thomas Tuchel openly admitted that Declan Rice is falling apart.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, one of those cartoon cars you see where all the wheels are coming off and you can see the steam coming. That is literally what Declan Rice is. You can see it,
shattered,
but he will
bless him.
keep running. That's what I respect him so much.
Yeah, he's a wonderful player.
But I was going to, talk about this game tomorrow, France versus Morocco.
We haven't even spoke about the boring
I honestly,
boringness that
I
was.
don't even know. I don't think I want to.
Colombia and Switzerland was very, very boring from minute 0 to 120.
It's one of the this is what Kenya's written on the sheet here. It's one of the lowest XG games since records began in 1966.
Honestly, that was
Doyle.
Kim is right. I said yesterday it could be an exciting game because they both got weaknesses in the team. They've both got attacking players. Maybe it'll be exciting because of that. Kim said, Doyle, lads. No, this is going to be a dull affair. And it turns out he was right for the second time in a row. He was absolutely correct. He was, to be fair. It was terrible. It was awful.
I fell asleep twice.
It was so
So
I fell asleep twice on the sofa.
genuinely as well. Like I was at one point, I was like, "Shall I turn this off?" I was like, "No," because the second you turn the game off, then it explodes. And
I
everything
turned it
happens
off
in
for
the
that
game,
5
so-
minutes to go and just waited for notification to say go into penalties.
And
Obviously
also-
it did, and I was like, I'll watch penalty shootout while I'm cleaning my teeth.
Pen shootout was crap.
Oh,
even
yeah, they
the-
were terrible
How many
penalties.
centre backs? Right.
crap.
I don't know why managers go, yeah, you never kick the ball at the goal. Do you want to take a pen, lad? I've never seen you shoot.
You've got
in your life."
Jonathan Tah, you've got Akanji, you've got Davinson Sanchez taking these penalty shootouts. And they're terrible. They're all hitting it like it's a clearance.
By the way, Davinson Sanchez hitting the bar must have been the most obvious thing in history.
Yeah, of course.
He was obviously just going to smash it against
Of
the bar,
course.
wasn't he?
And what else is he?
He
gonna
did it
do?
last time.
He does it every time.
Yeah.
Stop letting him take penalties.
And it's the fact that they're in the first five. I'm like, you've probably got 5 midfielders and strikers, attacking 6 plus fullbacks.
Do you think, right, so when it comes to penalty shootouts and stuff, do you think that the players have a choice in taking the penalties, or does the manager just say, listen, you're the one taking the penalty? Because that's the only reason why I can assume that the lads that step up are just the ones that are brave enough to do it. Because in reality,
Yeah.
taking a World Cup penalty, I've taken penalties in Sunday League and been nervous, yeah. Imagine taking a penalty in the World Cup to get your club through, your international club through. That is like the most terrifying
I'm
thing.
always amazed at people who miss penalties. I'm
Brother,
sorry,
it's a lot harder than you think, but I promise.
I actually, I actually think it's ridiculous.
Do you mean as in like just getting it off
so
target?
I think getting it off target is pretty insane. I also think that at some stage in tournament football you will probably be in a penalty shootout, and I hate this whole let your best players take a penalty. If you're a professional footballer like Davinson Sanchez, who at one point was on 200 grand a week at Spurs, you should, as a professional footballer who's been training all your life, be able to kick the ball 12 yards in a shooting or even in a hard passing fashion. And if you're a manager of an international team, if I was a manager of an international team, 1 hour a day after training, I would be training penalties for 6 months leading up to the World Cup and every single day during the World Cup. I'd be teaching
You
them.
are right.
I don't understand.
It's mentality,
why
brother.
players are still missing penalties.
This is what
'Cause we're
Southgate
human, lad,
did with England
genuinely.
that they never did before. England would obviously England would never win the penalty shootout. When they beat Colombia on pens, was it Euro? No, when was it? It was
remember
the
this.
2018 World Cup. And it was because Southgate had spent so much damn time on the training ground, basically just going hit it at the goal again. And England had never done it. England had never. I think the reports were like England had never really actually focused on penalties.
Yeah,
Southgate was like, you guys are terrible at this, and that's why. Also, just on your point about it being amazing how hard it is, that's why I always say Harry Maguire in that final is still one of the best penalties that has
was
ever been
unbelievable,
taken. That is one of the best penalties of all time.
One of the best penalties of all time was Virgil van Dijk against Kepa in the FA Cup final. I
When
think it
Kepa
was.
goes to his
he
side,
literally
yeah,
goes to the
volley.
right hand side and goes into the air, lad, and he goes, "Sound, watch me."
Oh, yeah,
And he hits
yeah,
it
that
so
one, yeah.
top left, lad. He's like, "What?"
Maybe the other centre backs has gone, oh, if they can do it, I can do it, and they've just been slapping it over the bar.
You're not
instead.
Virgil van Dijk, buddy. I think you're so right. Everything you're saying is spot on, lad. You're a professional footballer, but also the one thing that it doesn't account for is just that we're human, and when the pressure is on you, your whole body changes, lad. Like, honestly, your legs turn to jelly. Like, I've done it myself, missed penalties, lad, where I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm a freestyle footballer, bro. I can hit bottles from about 40 yards out, lad. Yeah, but the second the pressure's on you, it's different, and you can train that, but only the special players have the ability to get through that pressure. Messi misses penalties and he's the greatest player of all time. He has missed 4 out of 8 penalties in the World Cup.
That is true.
It's just I don't know what
Some
it
players
is.
are just terrible at
It's an equaliser. It's a complete and utter equaliser. You just forget how to play football, and we actually made this discussion yesterday, didn't we? We're talking about some of the best players in the world, how they just miss penalties, bro. But some of the people that I know are the most consistent at penalties aren't necessarily the best players. 2 examples I gave you yesterday. Mario Balotelli, he was ruthless at penalties, bro. He never missed. James Milner, great player, but you wouldn't put him in some of the best ever. But he never missed a penalty, lad. He was insane at them. So it's just one of them. I totally understand why they're missing, and it's just the human nature of penalties. It's penalty shootouts. That's what makes them so spicy, because you actually don't know what's going to happen. You really don't.
It's like any team can beat any team on pens.
Yeah.
I think the biggest influence is the goalkeeper. Like, if you're stood there and you've got this big hunk of a goalkeeper in goal just staring you down, you're like, no, but like,
He made one really good save, that Swiss keeper, yesterday.
yeah.
The one where he dived to his right low. That
Oh
was
yeah,
very,
that was
very
really
good
nice.
save.
As well, I know this is a bit nerdy, but I remember a few years ago I read a report on penalties, where it was this whole like big. Cause I studied psychology as a degree, and we spent a whole lecture once in sports psych on penalties and obviously the mentalities behind it and everything. And they did a report where these researchers watched 500 penalty shootouts and measured the distance they were from the ball when it kicked, how quickly they started their run up after the kick, if they walked forwards or backwards. And the report was basically like, it was the most likely way to score a penalty is to leather it down the middle. That is like what they say, the most consistent way of going one side versus down the middle. It was just hit it as hard as you can, basically torso height down the middle.
Higher, not low.
Yeah,
If you low
it was
the
basically
legs,
torso
you
height
can't
down
go.
the middle, and then it was also you're twice as likely to miss if you turn around after putting the ball down. So it's you put the ball down and you walk backwards. You take a slight step, but not like you know how Neymar goes really far to the side.
Yeah, he does.
Don't go that far, and basically don't stop, don't stutter, just leather it down the middle. And I think it's the referee blows its whistle, and the average time for the most highest rate was 3.5 seconds to start your run up after the referee blows his whistle.
Set yourself.
Just very, very interesting.
I think in emotional games like World Cup shootouts, definitely go down the middle, because what you're doing is this goalkeeper's hyped up. He's ready to jump. He's ready to go somewhere and do something. He's not necessarily always thinking either. He just wants to be the hero. So sometimes if you sort of catch him out with that, you can use your eyeballs to show him where you're going to go. Or look, your body language is so important when it comes to taking a penalty.
Take a breath and just whack it.
A lot of players don't look at the goalkeeper, do they? They just look at the floor, not looking at
you know, it's one of those things that, like, when you watch football, you know where you can go, oh, he's missing this one. And they do. Like, you can tell because of the way that he's going to be, like, he's going to hit this. Like,
body language.
Like Jonathan Tah, before he scored, I was like, this is done.
When you don't have an idea of what you're going to do, that you can see a player that sits the ball down and goes, I don't know what I'm doing here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%.
What you need to be, James Milner was excellent at it. He'd set the ball down, he'd look at the floor, he'd go back, and the second that whistle was blown, he'd run up and he'd hit it exactly where he said he was going to hit it in his head. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if you just practice that technique of hitting it into the side net and either side, then most likely it's going to go in. Or if you want to try and catch him off, just down the middle. Mo Salah used to do loads down the middle for Liverpool. Every time he tries to go to the side, he'd probably miss.
Someone said the wokest thing is a centre-back doing a step penalty.
Yeah.
Fact. 100% facts. Just stop it. Just run up to it and hit it. Yeah.
You're a centre-back. The one thing centre-backs can do
Just hit it
is
hard.
absolutely leather the
Yeah,
ball.
just leather
Like half their job is clearing it 70 yards up the pitch. Just do that, but straight at the goalkeeper.
You're also 6 foot. Like the lads that are 6 foot and above, like if you think about your leg like a golf swing, you've got so much weight behind you that you can just pass it into the net. You're not like me. I'm 5'8", so I really have to put my body behind it to get it into the net.
Yeah.
You don't. You're a big lad. Just golf swing it in, brother.
You're 6'3" with powerful thighs.
Yeah, you're gonna
Just
be
use
alright.
them.
Yeah.
But
it's one thing to say and one thing to do it, believe me, because
there was another comment here from Zoke Joke that says France and Morocco will be a proper brotherly affair. Both sides will respect each other, and I can see it dragging all the way to penalty.
I bloody hope so, because there's a lot of it. We were talking about this yesterday in Paris. There's a big Moroccan contingency in Paris.
So Morocco,
I hope you're all very kind to each other.
3 teams where they have heavy populations in that team. In the Netherlands, obviously Morocco have a very heavy
and that went
population.
bad.
They've got France, and then if they go through France, it'll then be Spain, where there are a lot of Moroccans in Spain, there's a lot of Moroccans in France, and there's a lot of Moroccans in the Netherlands.
I don't think that the French and the Moroccans get on as well as this person's insinuating. I think there's a
I think if you're in Paris,
That's what I'm saying, mate.
If you're Moroccan,
it's all about colonisers, and
I really don't think it's going to be a particularly friendly affair.
Yeah. Like I just want you to be nice to each other. But obviously I'm being very naive and hopeful for that. So,
but like, as you've been saying, Doyle, look, I don't think we need to really talk too much about France. We know what France are. We know how they're going to play.
Brilliant.
We know how fantastic they are. The depth off the bench. Mbappe has 11 World Cup goals, 3 more than any other player. Mbappe has 11 World Cup knockout stage goals, 3 more than any other player in history. But guys, this is the best version of Mbappe I've ever watched.
Yeah, it is.
I've been watching Mbappe since he broke through 10 years ago.
He's 27. This is
so
peak
good.
time for him. This is all the stuff that he's learnt in his early 20s, and also his physicality growing and getting stronger.
He's
This is
stronger,
peak
quicker,
Mbappe.
faster, smarter, better.
Yeah,
the best
experience.
Mbappe I've ever watched play, and he's
Unbelievable.
utterly terrifying.
He is.
He is utterly terrifying.
This-
And everyone makes the jokes about like dictator Mbappe, and I'm like, it's because he's 5 times better than everybody else.
Everyone. Have you seen him? I've been loving these, by the way. There's like anime clips of the World Cup. Have any of you seen them?
Yes, I have seen.
They're
these.
excellent. They
Yeah.
are. I'm
have
not the
seen
biggest
these.
fan of AI and all that type of stuff. I'm not. But if you're going to use AI, use it for that, because they are so fantastically made. Genuinely, I love seeing, like, you see Harry Kane in a suit of armour, and like it's the coolest thing ever. And every single time they're doing one on France, and it's Kylian Mbappe going, right, he's the dictator or the king or something, and they're all lined up, and you've got to come over to him, and he's like, you will give me an assist today.
Yeah.
You will get me a penalty. You will not shine brighter than me. Do you understand, Dembele? And it's just like, it's a play on it. I'm sure he sees them all himself, and he laughs his head off. I would, if it were me, I'd be laughing my head off
This
at
is the
that.
thing is that I don't think there's like watching France. There doesn't seem to be the tension and discontent that's all being portrayed. Like there's a petition going around in France at the moment that everyone's signing, which is an apology to Mbappe, because before the tournament, obviously, like, it's that one photo of him stood there with the president of France by his side, and all the other France players lined up about 40 yards away from. I don't know if you've seen this photo. It is because it's just like, why are you there? Like Mbappe had to confirm that he wasn't going to run for presidency. He got asked in a press conference, "Are you running for French presidency?" He was like, "No, I'm focused on my football."
Hilarious.
And there's this big thing going around, basically, where they just they just signed this whole petition basically going, sorry, Mbappe, we kind of forgot that you were like the best player, one of the best players in the world. If you want to do something, you know what?
Do what
Crack,
you want.
go and win us this tournament, please.
Have you seen the video of Elise kicking Dembele and I think Barcola out of one of them little carts? The cart's driving and Elise he stands in front of it and he goes, get out. And they both just get out and he turns the cart around and drives away. And the caption says, what has Mbappe done to Elise? And you see Elise walk over to Mbappe and they're both wearing these general outfits. Lad. You're like, this is hilarious.
Send me that.
It's excellent.
No, they're
but
brilliant.
The clip of Elise actually kicking them out is real.
Yeah.
Like, he actually did kick them out and he go, fair play, yeah, wait.
Yeah. At least he basically. Have you ever watched him try and speak French?
No.
It's hilarious. It's like because he was born in Hammersmith, and he's been playing in England his entire life, and then he's gone to Germany. Like him trying to speak French. There's this one clip from I think it's from an award ceremony or something where an interviewer asked him in French, and he just like. And then just switched to English.
Anyway, thank you for that.
But obviously, at least like he's amazing. But do you think that Morocco could be the team out of any of the ones that France are going to face before this fight, if they get all the way to the final, that could actually tip them out?
Two teams that could beat France for me are Spain and Morocco. I think England are third in that for me, to be quite honest with you. Spain will do the same thing that they did last time when they played them, suffocate the hell out of them. They'll find it really difficult to play against them. Morocco will be intense. Really intense. They will not let them play the football that they are gifted to play. They will not let them do it.
It's gonna be
and on
scrappy,
top of that,
game.
they've got bags of quality themselves. They really do, Morocco. So I think Morocco is the perfect kryptonite to France. Probably get clipped and it'll probably be 4-0 or something. Yeah. But I think right now, in this moment, Morocco are best suited to beat France.
They've got a good chance.
Yeah.
But they probably won't win.
I don't.
France
Yeah,
are too good.
they're not favourites, but I think France are. It's going to be a real shock if England, if whoever gets to the final, aren't playing France.
Yeah.
Imagine it's France Argentina again.
F that.
No.
F that.
France Argentina again, another Mbappe hat trick. Like,
I mean, that was the greatest World Cup final of all time. To
I mean,
be fair.
that's one of the greatest games of all time.
It was insane. It really was.
Like it had pretty much everything. It had last minute misses, incredible saves, hat tricks, comebacks. Oh, it was mental. Mbappe scored 4 that day because he also converted his penalty. He got 2 pens, an amazing goal, and he also scored in the shootout.
And that's why he's the general, mate. Man, that's why he tells.
He's the general because he's like one of the best players in the world
That's ever played.
Like every single, it's a mentality I love. I mean, also, I've heard about this, Kim. You and your CR7 rant the other day. Your
He hates him, lad. He's
yeah.
massive. I was going like, you've got to give him some respect. He's quite good in that. And he was like, nah, F him, he's a bozo, lad.
Because there's a super chat from IMOC7 that says, this guy on the right, aka Kim, was lying and disrespecting Cristiano Ronaldo United. Messi is number 1, but you're not going to rewrite Cristiano's history. Even if you don't like him, he's top 2 or 3 at least. And of course, he's a City fan.
I would like him to tell me what I was lying about. I don't think an opinion can be a lie. I think the last 2 days, really, if anything, have massively justified my point. I think to be the greatest, you have to do it on an international level, and you have to pull your team up from the fire. Lionel Messi did it yesterday. He did it in the entirety of the Qatar 2022 World Cup. He is the greatest player of all time. Maradona did it at Napoli, who were in Serie B when he joined, and he won the World Cup with Argentina. He is the second greatest player of all time. Pelé did it at Brazil, completely redefined football, and won 3 World Cups. He is the third greatest player of all time. If you really genuinely believe that Cristiano Ronaldo is better than Maradona or Pelé, that's your opinion, and that's fine. But to be the greatest, you have to do it everywhere you play. And Cristiano Ronaldo has never done it for Portugal. And you could argue the last 2, maybe even 3 tournaments that he's played in for Portugal, he's been far more of a detriment than a help to that side. That is a fact. There are not many people who should disagree with that. That is the truth. So unfortunately, I can't put him second or third. And I'm not lying. I think he's an unbelievably good footballer, obviously. He's the second best of our lifetimes, for sure.
Yeah.
It was always Ronaldo and Messi. It was always Messi and then Ronaldo. I think most people who love the game accept that.
It was one would do one, then one would do the other, then one would do one, then one would do the other.
He's won 5 Ballon d'Ors. The guy has missed the Champions League. He's ridiculous. I'm never going to sit here and say he's not good, but he's slightly tarnished his legacy by playing for Portugal in the way he has the last few tournaments. And to be the best of the best, the greatest, and we're talking margins here, you have to do it at an international stage, and he just hasn't.
Oh yeah, I guess Messi's also won his Copa America. He has retired from Argentina twice, but like aside from that, he won the Copa America. He's won the World Cup. They're on their way to possibly winning another World Cup here, regardless of how you think they're winning.
And also, by the way, and by the way, just quickly, just to justify what I'm saying about having to do it at an international level, if you watch any videos of Argentina fans before Qatar 2022, none of them put Messi on the same pedestal as Maradona.
Yeah,
none of them did because they hadn't won them the World Cup.
Yeah.
Do you know the City B thing is a myth? Essentially what it was is a famous quote from Maradona who said about this is a City B team because it was so low in the division, but he never actually played in City B. He just got a really poor team.
I don't know, but they'd just been promoted when he joined.
Yeah,
they'd just been promoted
but
when he joined.
But himself never played. But still, it's like Leicester winning the league.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But regardless, pretty much out of time. Thank you very much, Doyle. Thank you very much, Kim, for coming on as always. Thank you guys for watching at home. Let us know what you think about everything we spoke about in the comments. Who's going to win? France, Morocco? Let us know all of that. I'll be back here for Live at 5 to cover more football news, especially some of the news in the domestic transfer world and all of that, back in club football because there's no football today. Apart from that, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Cheers.
Bye.
Robbie, what's this about finance claims?
Look, if you had a car, a motorbike, or a camper van on finance between 2007 and 2021, you might have been missold or overcharged. Motor Reclaim can check it for you quickly and no win, no fee.
That easy. I've got to look into it.
Hit the link below for a simple check and you might have a valid claim to get some money back.